Hello guys. Tonight just a quick recap, a short recap of how the market was today and what we did, what our good trades. Overall was choppy initially and then a bearish market, and a lot of the earnings are being sold off. Good earnings are being sold off. The character of the market is a little bit different. So let's start. Let's start by talking about how we traded SPY QQQ SPX today. Before I start, the plan was simple. The VIX was gapping up. VIX 1950 and 20 were important levels today. That's what we used to trade it. So let's see what happened at the right at the open and what happened later in the day on the SPY QQQ. So let's take a look here. So you see that QQQ initially pulled back the amateur candle and swiped up, and it tried to push over the cloud curls. The reason it did that because initially, if I go to the VIX 10-minute chart here, what you will see that VIX initially at the open dipped, right? You see that dipped it under that 1940 level, right under 19. So that's why you see the swipe right here. So when that happened, I told the traders you can try the calls and the amateur calls, you can try it, and if it holds, you hold it. So it was working, right? But as soon as I see that I told them VIX has to stay under 19 for that call to work. And as soon you see this is testing of the 512 cloud on QQQs, and this is a testing of the clouds on SPY. Let's take a look at SPY. You see the same action right here, what was on SPY and what was on QQQ. But as soon as I see that VIX got back up, I told everyone to get out of the SPY QQQ. Get out. Get out of the SPY, get out of QQQs. And after that it just went into the chop here. It went into the chop for a long time. You see this is up, down, still riding the clouds down. It was still riding the clouds down, but once this bear flag broke down, it became a short, and you see that VIX went from 19 to 20, and at that time it broke and it faded. So that was a short that the traders took in the community. And same thing for QQQs. Once it broke that range, this and it faded, right? So nothing much to do, only a midday short the traders did. Again, VIX strategy from 19 to 20, and you could short it as soon as you see 19 being held, and once 20 was rejected, you saw the bounce. So that's the how my VIX strategy works. So anyways, there was nothing much to do here, a small short here for the traders in the community. So let's look at our main plays, how we traded the earnings and today. All right, we're going to start with our earning plays today. So there were so many earning plays today, hard to focus on a single one. Of course, in our pre-market game plan, we had Tesla, Google, IBM. We'll talk about all those, but what I was going to talk about is this one right here, which was our Honeywell. Right, so Honeywell, it's not an AI stock, but showing relative strength. So the plan was to long over 235, 238, support was 232s. So as soon as I saw that Honeywell is super strong right out of the gate, and it's holding over yesterday highs, which is always important to see that if the stock is over or under the yesterday highs. Right away I told the traders that Honeywell is a long versus 236. You can see that long versus 236. So right away, you long it. Your stops are at 236. If you're longing 239, $3 risk or $4 risk. But I gave the target of 250. You can see that 936 at the open. I gave the target of 250. It hit 250.27, right? And it's a 10 a.m. So traders took some off there. So that was not a bad trade. Risk one, risk to two reward. But it was a nice long, 100 shares, you're risking $400 here, and you're making like $1,000. So it wasn't not a bad trade there. But once it broke the 512s, it was an exit for all the traders. So you can see the timestamp guidance here, the planning, why Honeywell was a long, and why I focused on that for the traders. All right, let's look at the main one today. That was our trade on Tesla. So Tesla, even yesterday, we were trading it yesterday as well. So let me see, I can show you here what Tesla was doing. Okay, so Tesla was heavy right after the gate. Let's look at our pre-market planning. Pre-market planning on Tesla was bearish, but little extended to the downside. If it doesn't watch out the calls, if it doesn't call, then you can short under the pre-market lows. So short under the pre-market lows, 337, 340 support, 347.50 resistance. As long as it stays under resistance, it's not a bullish, right? So nobody tried to long in the community. No one was trying to long it. So let's take a look here. So right away, my guidance on Tesla was no longs. It's a little extended to the downside, but no longs, right? And I saw it super heavy. Told the traders it's super heavy. Watch the VIX as well, and continuously guided my traders that's super heavy and it can flush. So that was all my voice and live guidance in the community. And I told the traders to short it, and I said you short it right away. You have to short it wherever you short on this first candle. Your stops are high of the day, right? So if you short at 338, your risk is 342. If you're shorting 336, your risk is still 342. Further away you go, the more your risk. So we shorted, most of us shorted around this 336 level, and our risk was like $5, right? And the targets I gave was 332 and 330. And by 10 a.m. we hit our 332 target. You see my target I gave at 938. Then we hit 330 target. No longs. I mean, simply we're not trying to long. We're only trying to find our short entry. That's what we're trying to do here. Because you have to also look at the daily chart. You see the daily chart here. If I go to Tesla daily chart, it's breaking a key support here. It broke this 368. Then it broke this 338 support, right? So these are daily supports. Once those daily supports go, you hold your puts, you hold your shorts, you add your shorts, you just let it work. And then 332 target hit, the next 324 target, 325 were my next targets. We hit that as well. And I told the traders to cover some at the 10 a.m. trend time. And you see this was the bear flag that we created at 10 a.m. trend time. And then I told the traders that cover most, and then you can roll with some profits. Let's say traders made $3,000, $2,000, whatever they made. You take part of it. If you, let's say you made $3,000, you take $600-$700, you buy the puts for 320 right here at 10. I told them right at that level. And from that 10:30, when I told them, it further flushed to 320 target right here. And once 320 was gone, our next targets I gave was 317.60, and final target was 315. We hit 318 and we bounced. We got out of the short here, but it failed again, and you could reshort it again. But this was the main short that we did today. So you could clearly see nobody was trying to go long. We did try a little bit long here later in the day, but as it pulled back, it was a $2 loss. But the main play was this all day fade on Tesla. We planned in the pre-market. You see that everything is planned in the pre-market. Short under pre-market lows. That plan worked nicely. So Tesla, trade for living. All you needed is risking $1,000 today. You could easily make $4 or $5,000 on this trade. It gave us a decent $15, $16, $17 per share profit, risking $4 or $5. So one risk to 3 reward trade. So that's how you gotta do. And let's go to the next one. Beautiful. So next one we want to look at is Lilly. Lilly has always been good for us. I have always told the traders that Lilly, whenever Lilly is on the news, right? Let's look at the game plan, and I make it red for this very reason, because there's a good range. So retroactive phase 3 giving 22% weight loss, right? It's all about the weight loss drugs with Lilly. So the long setup was 512 long versus the previous day lows. Short if it rejects it, right? We always have open bias. 1150, 1158 was the levels there on Lilly. So my voice guidance right at the open 935, I told the traders Lilly is a long, and you see this pulled back to 512 clouds. You get in here, your stops are here, or you get in here, and that becomes the curl. So this is the MTF cloud 1, MTF cloud 2, and so Lilly nicely bounced from there. I told the traders to focus on Lilly. I gave the long right at the open. My traders are already long, they know that. And then Lilly went on to push and break this flag and went on all the way to 1190, right? So if you were risking $7-8 there, you made like 20 bucks. It was a pretty good trade there on Lilly. You can always trade Lilly, the leverage ETFs as well. So let's look at our IBM trade. IBM already had pre-announced. That's why it fell from 300 all the way. So the earnings was more or less known. So I told the traders only long if 200 holds, 200 psychological setup, right? So you will watch that 200 closely. So initially when it was dipping, I told the traders wait, do not long it, leave it alone, do not touch it. And then it was heavy, but then I watched that it's swiping from 200. I told the traders, okay, now you watch. As soon as it pushed over the 202s, I told the traders, play the curls long versus the 200 level. Ideally, I mean, if you add here, 200 are your stops, but if you're adding here over Ripster 512 curls, then your stops need to be around this 250 or something, right? You could risk like $1.50 or something. So you can see that I told the traders to long versus 200, and then there was the curl long, and hit our MTF target from 202 to 250. It went all the way to 207. So you're risking $2, you're making $4 or $5. That was not bad. You could see RGV and all, did that. And once it broke the 512s, we were out of it. So I mean, it was a decent trade in the community. Easy trade because we had that 200 psychological level, and you could see that a lot of traders were on IBM, BB, SB, Jago. Everybody was on top of IBM in the community. Chick-fil-A, Explorer. So it was pretty good. Cole was in long. Michael had a nice green trade. Pepe had a nice green trade. So it was pretty good. And I think CEO was there as well. Started to chop up here, and you could see the resistance here, MTF resistance. So once it broke this level, the traders got out in the community. All right, let's go to SpaceX. Now, SpaceX was again a short. So let's look at SpaceX here. Let's see what SpaceX was doing right there. So when I was on the voice in the community, I told the traders, you can see the timestamps here. The SpaceX is no bottom, lot of sellers. If it breaks 114, we are looking for 112, right? And it's a short. Lot of sellers, it's a short. So that was my voice guidance at the open. The reason I gave that guidance, once I see this 3450 rejections, it's become the short, and you can short it. You can short it under pre-market lows. You could see that SpaceX had news. It was our number one day two setup. If it held the previous day close, we would long it. But if it rejects that, we will short under that and under the previous day lows. So you see that it rejected the previous day close. So it is becoming a short. Broke the previous day lows, confirmed short, take a short right here. The targets I gave was 112, next target was 110. We hit 112, and then we almost hit 110. But once it started to curl, we got out. So I told the traders that SpaceX is a 512 curls. You see that 1133 timestamps versus 112. That's your stops. You get in 113. You push $1 stop. Take it to 116 to 117. You're making like $4 per share, risking $1. So that was my call on SpaceX. Hit 3450 from that idea. And then that was our call setup. So it was pretty good. Still heavy chart, but this candle we'll be watching tomorrow. 100 would have been nice for a nice dead cat bounce. Still under 1 hour MTF clouds, but this is how you trade it. This is how you stay bearish and with the clouds and the bullish with the clouds. Next one, we'll look at STM. There were many trades. These are the ones which I guided. STM was okay, nothing crazy. We have this 512 calls. You can see that earning play, and we had a plan in the pre-market on STM as well. It was somewhere here. So, but when it pushed here and failed here, we got out. So, but this is what we were trying to play here. You can see the timestamps 951. This is where I told the traders 55 to 56. So basically, it's a scratch trade. Nothing crazy for us there. All right, let's look at our swing winner today on the earnings. So this is a chart of MEDP. You could see that. But what I want to show you here, when you find these swings, last earnings fell down. It fell down right there, and and I posted this setup, and you can see that this was before. You see that drop, risk zone. We bought at 386. There was a gap, so we were trying to trade the gap fill swing trade. So we got long there. You can see that I also alerted as well I retweeted as well, and we were long right here in our Tenet research investing firm. You could and we did actually pretty good. We run a biotech portfolio. That's where we were on MEDP. Today we closed that position. You could see we closed by 386, 616 closed, then rest of it at 650. We had closed some earlier at 508, right? So you could see that. And when we bought that at 386, we were risking like $10-15, and look, we had made like almost $200, $150. So that was a pretty good trade. I will show you in a minute. But my thesis was, this was my thesis. Why we adding it? You have to see that earnings was good, revenue was good. It was an overreaction, and you could see that entry 386, stops at 370, over 400 we do the gap fill, right? So also shared freely with the traders. A lot of other good traders had conviction there as well. So what it did, this is what it did. It started to move from this pullback, and then stays long, we stay long, push, break this flag, we stay long, we stay long, we stay long. We started to scale out slowly. On the gap fill we took some profits, and then we held in because we were all green, and rest of it we sold today, right? So these are the opportunities you have to find. So it is a gap fill setup. Also have to do some research on why you're buying something. I will do another webinar on all the swing trades, but it was a huge winner for our biotech portfolio and helped us again there. So beautiful winner on this swing trade gap fill repeatable strategy. Thank you.